Hi, how you doing? It's me, Gerald, the Earthling. A lot of you know me, and a lot of you don't. Today is just kind of a video that I thought I would do, considering another sighting. It's, I'm going to have to go into this again. People are, they're constantly on each other about, just because you're an atheist, how can you believe in UFOs? How can you believe in UFOs if you're an atheist? I get that a lot, and I wonder. I mean, we already have, the von Däniken thing, but apparently people don't understand that. Actually, his whole contention is not that there are gods. It is rather that the people who saw ETs, in visitations, in craft, wherever they might have seen them, they, being superstitious, as long ago as it was, in a lot of cases, being very superstitious people, they pretty much automatically assumed that they were gods. And basically the Babylonians were one of the only ones, or the Sumerians, were one of the only ones who came up with the idea that they are not necessarily gods. They are those who from the stars came. Interesting. It's an interesting way they put that. Because they're basically saying that they know they're not from Earth. They knew all along they were from the stars somewhere, right? It's funny how we don't assume that, a lot of us. I assumed it. Ever since I was a child, I've assumed that there had to be life out there. That there had to be other civilizations and other intelligences. Otherwise, how would we be here? Because we're other life and other intelligences that somebody else thought of. And maybe they looked at us as we were, maybe they thought even we were more advanced. Oh, they didn't know us. How would we get that now? The point I'm trying to make is that just because you're an atheist, just because you don't feel there are beings out there that are worthy of our worship, or worthy enough that they can tell us how to act, or how to protect ourselves, or know anything about our bodies. And it's just silly the way they go on and on and on and on. Well, you're an atheist. How can you believe in ETs? Well, it's pretty simple. A man as clear-minded as I am, a man that has no superstitions, and doesn't allow for any actual superstitions. I do, however, allow for the reasoning that we're not alone. The reasoning that it's we're here and we can't be the only civilization in the whole universe. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. So I've assumed ever since I was a young man that they were ETs, extraterrestrial biological entities. And as far as the Roswell incident goes, it's funny. People look at that as a supposedly a conspiracy theorist thing, and it's like we gathered up, we made it all up and everything, just to make, just so people would believe. Well, that's so far from the truth that it's silly. And this is how far from the truth it is now, because the person who came upon the crash at first, of course, was the rancher. But what did he do? He reported it immediately to the army, who gave it to their intelligence officer. Yeah, a major in the intelligence group. So this major goes out there and he looks through it, and he's excited. He freaked out. He found a flying disc that crash landed. So he grabs up some of the material to take into his Chio and takes some over to the local media and reports it to them and to let them know that we found this flying disc and that we now have a hold of it and it's in our possession. We're going to look it over, blah, blah. It didn't take them less than 2 days to turn that around. Oops. Oops, oh, well, we didn't mean to say that. No, we didn't mean to say that now. Actually, it was just a weather balloon. Yeah, that's it, a weather balloon. With a little bit of foil, a little bit of string, and a little stick. A weather balloon. And the United States Air Force is going to use the cheapest material possible yeah, okay. And that's a weather balloon, they're saying. That are usually made out of Kevlar, you know, because they have to be sturdy. It's so thin but sturdy. But no, it doesn't happen that way. It's not anything like that. And I just don't understand people how they get, you know, it's so evident that there's other life out there. I mean, it's absolutely evident. And to me, evidence of absence is absence of evidence. That's the way the God thing is to me. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence. The thing with Roswell is we have evidence. We have evidence of presence. And it's kind of late for the Senate to cover it up now, but we have evidence of presence. Absolute evidence of presence. Personal note. I saw some myself. Doing guard duty. Or an SOG. Here's to you. As far as that goes. Now, as far as the rest goes, there are other countries, you know, we're not the only country in the world. If you know anything about Belgium, you'll know that their military is actively in command of and going through their own little system of UFO identification and so forth. They've really been on the cases at the triangular giant ship that went over Phoenix in '85. They've been on that one ever since. And they've had one flying. They've had a couple of them, in fact, fly over Belgium, where they were reported by the Belgian police, the Belgian Air Force, everybody else. And then NATO tried to tell them, no, you have to calm down those stories. You can't talk so much about them. They even told on that. Yeah, it's right here on YouTube. Just look up Belgian UFO flap. And it's got this fucking Belgian Air Force officer telling this American, the head of the NATO, telling him in so many words, you know, fuck you. Get your own fucking evidence. We're not stealing ours, you fucks. So, yeah, we have that going on. So we got a little bit of help there. And MUFON, their new season is coming out. I don't cotton much for media. I don't cotton much to TV and listen to their. There are actual facts and actual proofs out there. It's not that hard to find, and they're not that hard to discern. You do not, just because you're an atheist, you don't have to kowtow to the weirdos and the nutters who seem to think that it's either one way or the other. It's a cookie-cutter situation. No. That's the whole point to understanding that there are UFOs, that there are extraterrestrials. That they could have very well have been sightings themselves. They could very well have been the proof needed if these fuckers would just get up off their asses and go get it. But not Americans. They won't do it. But the Colombians, Venezuelans, Belgians, the Netherlands, England, Ireland, Germany, a whole bunch of them over there are more than willing to help out. They've got films all over YouTube and stuff. There's some really good sightings been going on. So I'm gonna, that was just a little diatribe thing I wanted to make about that, because I kept getting bugged by so many people. Just because you're an atheist, how do you believe in UFOs? They're not. First of all, they're not UFOs. They're IFOs. They are identified flying objects. We don't necessarily know the name of the species. We don't necessarily know the name of their civilization, the name of their planet. We don't know any of those things, and I don't want to ascribe and anthropomorphize onto them. I don't want them to, get personified, and humanized. We're not doing that. And I'm gonna guarantee, almost guarantee, to the person, I'm gonna guarantee that they wear clothes. I don't know what it is about our interpretation of aliens. Is always these naked monster types, and yet we got little gray guys who I'm pretty sure don't wear clothes, right? So anyway, we'll see you later. Your thoughts? I'd like to hear a few. Meanwhile, sayonara. Take it easy, okay? You guys all have a good one.